Welcome to our new video. This is the Philips One Blade Face and Body QP 2630. We have reviewed it for you, and you'll find out everything you need to know in this video. So just stay tuned. Let's get started with the Face and Body QP 2630. Before we get to the practical test, we'll first give you an overview of the product in our Features and Technology section. The One Blade Face and Body is basically some kind of jack of all trades. This means that you can shave and trim with the device. You can use it not only on the face, but also on your whole body. Compared to the last One Blade we tested, the range of applications has therefore been extended to include body grooming. In other words, the removal of body hair. You still have to be careful before buying a One Blade though. The devices look the same and the model numbers are also almost identical. QP 2530 was the name of the device last time. The One Blade Face and Body that we tested for this video, on the other hand, is called QP 2630. However, the devices are not only aesthetically like twins, the technology of the shaving head has also remained the same. This means that the face and body versions have the same blade system and work with a blade that moves 200 times a minute. However, in order to provide a safe appliance without the risk of injury, Philips relies on a double protection system consisting of a protective coating and rounded blade edges. Remo will report on the actual risk of injury later in the practical test. The cutting range of the One Blade Face and Body is up to 5 millimeters, which is made possible by the corresponding comb attachments. It can also be used for both dry and wet shaving. As the device is also waterproof according to the IPX7 standard, using it while showering is also no problem. As far as the battery is concerned, the QP 2630 comes with a lithium-ion battery. According to the manufacturer, it takes approximately 4 hours to fully charge. A full charge then offers a battery life of 1 hour. This was already the case with the QP 2530 and is also a good value in comparison with other shavers or beard trimmers that we have reviewed. There is also a rudimentary battery indicator that shows whether the battery is full, empty, or charging. This gives you at least a rough overview of the device's battery status. Unfortunately, there is no mains operation. Accordingly, the QP 2630 will not work when it is in charging mode. However, this does not seem to be that unusual. For example, all the waterproof shavers that we have reviewed have also dispensed the mains operation. This is probably for safety reasons, so that's okay in the end. By the way, you can find the link to the One Blade Face and Body below the video in the description. And if the video was helpful to you, please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel. We then took a closer look at the One Blade for our first hands-on impressions. There's nothing to complain about in terms of workmanship. All parts fit together well and make a good impression. In addition, the device has an ergonomic design with a non-slip rubber handle, which means that it sits comfortably and securely in your hand. It is also generally the case with the One Blades that the devices weigh very little. Of course, this also applies to the face and body version, which at 96 grams is one of the lightest compared to many other beard trimmers or shavers. And if you ever want to adjust the length setting, it's very easy to do so. This is because the comb attachments can be removed from or attached to the blade without much fiddling. A click sound signals that it is in place. All in all, these points make the One Blade quite easy to handle. We didn't really have anything to complain about here. Accordingly, the device can basically be guided well when working. The only difficulty a One Blade typically has is when working in angled areas such as the chin or under the nose. This is probably due to the rigid blade, which is similar to a classic wet shaver in design. A blade of this type does not enclose contours such as the chin quite as well. If you compare the One Blade with other electric shavers that have more adaptable blades or shaving head, it can't quite keep up when it comes to difficult areas. With a little practice, however, you will get used to it, and you'll be able to handle the QP 2630 well. When it comes to comfort, we also have to talk about the sound and its volume. After all, you work on your face and thus close to your ears with such devices. At around 64 decibels, the QP 2630 definitely delivers a good result. If you compare the volume with electric shavers, for example, the One Blade is neither too loud nor too quiet and ranks in the middle. Only the noise could be a little more pleasant, because it sounds quite high-pitched and hums a little. On the whole, however, it's fine and didn't bother us too much. So much for a rough overview. Before we move on to the core of our review, meaning shaving and trimming, we would first like to see what Remo has to say. He put the QP 2630 to the test for us in everyday use and would like to share his impression about the feeling of safety with us. When I saw this blade for the first time, I thought, this might hurt. It's really sharp and seems unprotected. I was thinking surely I cut myself with it. Accordingly, I was careful while shaving myself, but I simply had to learn that nothing would happen. So you don't cut anything here, except your hair. A high sense of security is a good start. But what about skin irritation? The device also delivers good results in this area. Admittedly, we have already tested one or two electric shavers that were less irritating to the skin. With the One Blade, on the other hand, a few skin irritations can become noticeable after several strokes. Basically, however, this is still perfectly acceptable. We are complaining at a high level in this case. So far so good. Now we come to the essentials, namely our shaving, trimming, and body groom results. Here, the One Blade's strength was particularly evident while shaving, where it also performed very well in comparison to other beard trimmers or electric shavers. Usually, you'll only need a few strokes to achieve a relatively smooth result. Of course, it doesn't quite come close to a classic wet shave, but in our opinion, the difference to the conventional version is not too great. On the other hand, trimming with the attachments is somewhat tedious. In our experience, classic beard trimmers are more effective in this regard. With the One Blade, on the other hand, you'll need a few more strokes until the trimming result is right. But if you have a bit of patience, you'll be fine. The process is similar for body grooming. There are also corresponding attachments for trimming body hair. To illustrate the whole thing for you, let's take a look at this arm. In our opinion, arm hair comes closest to other body hair, with exceptions of course, but it should be enough to get an impression. When it comes to trimming, you soon might realize that it doesn't work that quickly. As with the other comb attachments, working with the skin protection attachment also requires several strokes to capture the hair. Unfortunately, this is not quite optimal and could be better in our opinion. Of course, you are not obliged to work with the body hair attachments, but they are included to reduce the risk of injury in sensitive areas. However, we also think that working without the attachment is relatively safe. Therefore, if you can, it's better to use the naked blade. You should only be a little careful, or perhaps even use the skin protection attachment if you're working on particularly sensitive areas. Otherwise, the blade may prick the skin in wrinkly areas or similar. And as a reminder, you can find the link to the One Blade QP 2630 below the video in the description. And if the video was helpful to you, please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel. To ensure that the One Blade face and body can do its job for as long as possible, it is of course important to clean it regularly. This is quite easy to do here. After all, the device is waterproof, so cleaning it is a breeze. In the end, this means that you can simply rinse the appliance and the blade under running water. The appliance is then ready for use again. What is unfortunately not quite so convenient is the fact that the blades are generally subject to wear and tear. Assuming 2 shaves per week, the blades last up to 4 months. Then new ones have to be purchased, which of course involves running costs. That's a bit of a shame. As far as the scope of delivery is concerned, however, the QP 2630 is a little more accommodating. It comes with 2 blades, which should give you peace of mind for a while. It also comes with 4 comb attachments in different length settings for the face, a 3mm comb attachment for the body, a skin protection attachment for sensitive areas, and a protective cap for the blades. Apart from this, there is also a travel bag and of course the power adapter. All in all, the accessories supplied are coherent and match the functionality of the device. Let's come to the conclusion. With the One Blade Face and Body QP 2630, you get a jack-of-all-trades that is designed for shaving and trimming facial and body hair. Admittedly, trimming with the comb attachments can't really keep up compared to some beard trimmers we've reviewed. However, when it comes to shaving with the naked blade, the One Blade came up with pretty good results. Even compared to some electric shavers, it is one step ahead. The shaving result comes very close to a classic wet shave, and the device is also comfortable to use. If you also consider the price, the QP 2630 stands out as an inexpensive all-rounder that makes even some higher-priced devices look old. Alright, I tested this One Blade for you. If you're interested, take a look at the video description below. You can find all the links there. Otherwise, I'd be happy if you'd stay tuned. Our end card will provide a few interesting video suggestions for you.